What's going on, guys? Ironcane here, back with another Dragon Ball Legends video. And for today's video, we're going to be reacting to a video made by Slaybix called The Sad Decline of Dragon Ball Legends. This video will be in the link in the description. Make sure to check it out and give it lots of love. I'll go ahead and give it a like myself. But this is a video that I think is going to be very interesting, especially given the current state of Legends. I feel like a lot of people are feeling this way, so I am curious to see how homie here determined you know, the decline of Legends and where it started and stuff like that. So
actually here to talk about something new, something I'm really, both of us, Keigo and I, are really excited to talk about. It's a new PvP game, and actually we've never released
dude, I just realized it's Baby Toshi, bro.
This until now, so
look at him.
First to see anything about this game. So
my god, almost a decade ago at this point, 2018.
Dragon Ball Legends.
Hey! Oh.
Legends is dead. I mean, maybe not literally, but it feels dead.
It goes without saying, this is one of the worst months ever for Dragon Ball Legends.
This is concerning.
Oh,
this
and
is
it's me!
Concerning. Very. I genuinely cannot recall a time it was this bad.
Not only are a lot of these trash of Demon King Piccolo, of Mr. Metal Cooler, because realistically he is not very good despite how defensive you can make him. He hits like a hero unit if you actually make him like a defense build. Trash free to play, trash free to play. Fun free to play, but still trash free to play. Nappa and Cybermen, so many units that are just failure fumbles that just coexist, and it's like, this is our last three purples. Evo wasn't top 10 for most people. DKP wasn't top 10 for most people. Cooler is barely top 10 for most people right now. Fuck you, Legends.
So back at the end of March, when they released their newsletter talking about the current issues with the game and how they were going to address them, one of those issues were, quote, and I'm actually reading this directly from the newsletter, increase in characters with high combo power. The same issue has occurred with special cover change nullification and draw speed up effects. With combo capabilities continuously on the rise, matches often devolve into one-sided affairs where one player is on the receiving end of a lengthy combo. Some of you can recall times where you could only watch helplessly after a single mistake led to a long combo that eventually destroyed your entire party.
Bro, that is still going on. Very much so. Very much so with Golden Frieza and Vegeta and so on. Sorry, but yeah, very evident that is not really been taken into account at all. So this statement, you know?
Currently, there are few opportunities to switch from offense to defense, and vice versa, and this has damaged the play experience in battle. So since that letter has come out, we have three characters here that I'm going to be using in this video: Frieza, Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, and Evolution Blue Vegeta, who specialize in very long combos.
What would you say Legends' biggest problem is right now?
Virgil too.
Lag. It's always been lag, bro. I mean, outside of the you know, the repetitive and the the repetitive nature of the game, and then them doing the bare minimum and shit, like, that's like common issues. I think that's
a very well made video. I love this effect.
To keep the game interesting is, like, you know, always spice it up, do more, be more generous, incentives to play. But for me, it's lag. It's always been lag. It's always been the bare minimum playing the game, and the game always feels unplayable.
Damn, that was a fire intro, bro. Yo, that was, yo. I want to glaze. That shit was fire. What?
Let me ask you a question. Are any of you having fun playing Dragon Ball Legends in the current state it's in?
No.
No, nigga. No. No. No!
Yep, didn't think so. It's no surprise that this game has been at a sharp decline for this past year. From the countless broken promises and the incompetence of the dev team, the flaws with the new design philosophy, scummy corporate greed tactics like the new supporter system and CC reduction, and of course, the tiresome toxic metas. The entire Dragon Ball Legends community has had enough of this game. The countless but completely valid complaints, people rolling their eyes in annoyance and slandering this game even when it's simply brought up. It's sad, but that's the unfortunate state the community is in right now. We're tired of all this non-stop bullshit. And honestly speaking, I don't think it has ever been in this bad of a state before, at least from what I can remember. So for this video, we're going to be covering everything wrong that Legends has been doing and see if we can get to the bottom of why this game always seems to be steering itself in the wrong direction. And hopefully by the end of this, we can find a solution as to what is needed in order to get this game back on track.
Again, edits on this video are fantastic. Wow.
So, where did it all go wrong? We have to point the blame at something. This big of a downfall just doesn't happen out of thin air. So what caused it? Well, to answer that question, instead of asking what caused it, we should be asking who
Ooh.
I wouldn't try to get out of this.
Yes!
Bring the body count by a few hundred.
You know what? You know what? You earned it, bro. You earned it. That's my fucking boy. Yo, Slaybix. That's my boy right there, bro. You're all right. You're all right. You're all right with me, bro. You're all right with me, man. Oh, shit. Let's go, dude.
Ladies and gentlemen, he needs no introduction. Regarded by many as the single most toxic and hated unit in this game.
Yes.
Ultra Majin Vegeta.
Yes,
is a prime
dude.
example of what happens when you go too far. A unit so powerful and so brain dead that he is solely responsible for the creation of one of, if not the worst periods ever to play this game. Majin Buu Saga was already toxic enough. But with UMV now in the picture, he made this team go from extremely broken to unbeatable. The damage, the healing, the support, the buff cancellation, the infinite green cards, and of course, the infinite combos. This team simply had it all. And the worst thing about it, there were so many usable Majin Buu Saga characters that you could have made so many different variations of the team. UMV, Ulton, LF Kid Buu, LF Gotenks, LF Fusing Super Vegeta, Sparking Green Evil Buu, and Sparking Supreme Kai. Is this enough relevant Majin Buu Saga characters, guys? I think Legends should add another one.
Oh, say less.
And they actually did. Great. As if the infinite combos couldn't get any worse, LF Transforming Vegeta Blue and LF Transforming Super Saiyan 3 Goku were here to make everything more miserable.
Again, I'm sorry to pause this because this video is so well paced and whatnot. I hated these characters. These characters are some of my most hated releases of all time. Just because some of the things I hate in this game, you know, which, you know, they're addressing right now, is the long combos. I preferred the Blue Beast meta because although Blue Beast was stupid and overpowered, right? And it was just a reroll team, whatever. At least matches fucking ended, you know what I mean? Not everything went the timer counts and shit. Like with these fuckers and like Ultra Majin Vegeta shit he's talking about, like, bro.
What more even needs to be said that hasn't been already? All you had to do was combine the might of UMV alongside these brain-dead, soulless combo characters. And there you go. That's all you needed to do.
Their LFs weren't even
and
that
of course,
crazy.
thanks to Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Majin Buu Saga was given yet another buff,
Maybe
which
Goku's,
it so
but not
clearly
Vegeta.
did not need. The game became so unbearable to play, to the point where it felt like a chore to hop into PvP. You were punished for engaging against UMV, and of course you had to deal with all the other bullshit that he does. And then if you made one single error against these soulless slop combo characters, the game was over. And if you're wondering why I keep calling these guys in particular soulless, it's because that's exactly what they are. Uninspired, soulless units who provide nothing unique in terms of kit. All you had to do was click cards, and there you go. That's the character. And that was another big issue that the community had during Festival, held basically the entire year of 2024. Most of the characters that were released seem to lack identity and just do the exact same thing. Everyone gets card draw speed, everyone has infinite cover null, everybody combos for 50,000 years. It's like creating a unique unit was just impossible now. Honestly, the only really unique characters we got in 2024 were these guys right here. They were goated. But I would say they kind of act as a
I hated Vegeta though. Vegeta was
they were
annoying.
so hype and set the bar so high for future expectations, players just started to assume from there on that every single celebration after was just going to have some godly unique character with all these brand new abilities and quirks. Of course, it's not the player's fault for having high expectations. Legends is the one who set the bar anyway, and they failed to deliver. The devs knew what they were doing by releasing these characters, and I'm not saying every single character released after needed to be on that level of creativity, but for special occasions like the celebrations, that's the time when they need to be going all out, not giving us Control-C, Control-V ass characters. To give Legends some credit, at the bare minimum, they at least gave Vegeta and Goku Black a new ability. Vegeta has his anti-counter gauge buff where if you try to attack somebody with the counter gauge, it won't go off. which still somehow didn't push UMV out of the meta, by the way. And then there's Goku Black, who provides cover null to characters who don't normally get it that often. But then Goku Black himself ended up being terrible, so why would you ever use him? But besides from that, as you can see, the dev team clearly messed up big time with this.
I will say Goku Black was a little bit better in Proud. I think he aged a little bit better over time, but on release, yeah, he wasn't really that crazy.
This one, UMV not only was still running around unchecked, but was made even stronger due to Vegeta and Goku.
Yeah.
The lack of diversity and unique mechanics players were looking forward to, and the overall environment of the meta just being at an all-time low than what it already was previously. Nothing about this time period in the game was fun. And fast forward to March 2025, now we had Daima ruling the game. A team that literally does everything. We already had to deal with the egregious 2024 Fest meta. Now we have to deal with this bullshit. The backlash from the player base was at an all-time high. Once again, it's very clear that the dev team fucked up. It was either they make a change or this game was done for. And sure enough, right at the end of the month, Legends would finally listen to the players and make that change. But unfortunately, it would end up spiraling into the first major problem in the decline of this game.
Yeah, I was just about to get into it. But let's see what he says, because they announced the philosophy, did it for Dragon Ball Saga, and just like threw it out the window.
On March 31st, Dragon Ball Legends will release this newsletter, which would address every issue the community has been complaining about. The absurdly long combos, the lack of identity between most releases, the constant disrupting characters had, making it impossible to even get a combo started, and even other issues like unnecessarily long yap session abilities most modern characters had in their kit, which made it super difficult and annoying for anyone to read, especially new players who are trying to get into the game. After all this time, the devs have finally decided to take action. And going forward from here, they promise to completely change the design of characters, giving each of them more of a distinct role, to not only make them stand out, but to also make sure they aren't doing a million toxic things. This all seemed really amazing. Characters were finally going to start being more unique again, and all the toxic bullshit is seemingly coming to an end. How could the dev team possibly mess this up? Well, let's take a look at the first example of this new design philosophy being implemented. The Dragon Ball Saga campaign.
Yeah.
The very first character that was created with the new design philosophy was Cyborg Tao. Although he wasn't meta relevant in any way, his design was very simple and fun. His main purpose was just to be a gimmick character. Just continuously draw ultimates to spam at your opponent. He wasn't crazy powerful, nor toxic, and he fulfilled his role of being a fun free-to-play April Fool's character. Cyborg Tao was a success. The following characters that would release after him were LF Demon King Piccolo, Tamaring, and Zenkai Bandit Yamcha. And here is where we start to see the first flaws within the new design.
It's crazy to think, looking at all three of these characters, that Tambourine, at least to me, was the most impressive.
Philosophy. Starting with Zenkai Bandit Yamcha. He was absolutely horrible. Extremely low damage guard, very little access to cover null, and overall just wasn't giving anything new that would help him in the long run. His only real strength in the battlefield was that he can do crazy crit damage, but none of that even matters if you can't tank nor get a combo started. LF Demon King Piccolo was one of the worst LFs this year, and in contention for being one of the worst LFs of all time. Yep. His whole design is centered around if your Rising Rush gets guessed or not. If you don't get guessed, then you're able to unlock all these effects, which gives him more Dragon Ball so he can rush again to get even stronger. But if you do get guessed, then he misses out on all of these buffs and essentially does absolutely nothing for the entire fight.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Low damage, defenses, and disrupt does not help his case. Tambourine is a little bit better than DKP, but still suffers from the same issue. If he isn't constantly getting Dragon Balls, then he's going to be a lot weaker than what he should be. He's also just really squishy and runs out of cover null pretty quickly. I will say, he does provide some pretty solid support for the team, but overall, it just wasn't enough. So there goes three characters wasted due to the flaws of the new design philosophy. It was very clear that for DKP and Tamaring, they were trying to make these Dragon Ball merchant style characters, where they get stronger the more you collect them. And I do appreciate Legends for trying to make them unique in that way. But having your whole character's design be centered around RNG just never ends up working out in the long run. The next batch of characters to drop for the campaign were Zenkai Launch and a plat equipment for these guys. Just like Yamcha, Launch was an absolute failure. She just ended up
I don't even remember what she did.
That contributed nothing to the team other than being a bench. But thankfully, World Tournament Goku and Piccolo.
Yeah, these two guys were actually good.
Solid. Technically speaking, I don't even know if these characters fall under the new design philosophy. All I got was plat equipments, which is just an extra stat boost and maybe one extra ability in there to make them better. I'm not even sure if plat equips are made with the new design philosophy. Let me know in the comments below. If they aren't, then just ignore this. But if they are, then Goku ended up being a great tank that provided good support, and Piccolo Jr. ended up becoming a decent damage dealer that the team was looking for. But unfortunately, due to Dragon Ball Saga still not having a main core character to hold the team together, and Daima still running around doing its toxic shit, the team remained in a bad spot. And even with the final releases to wrap up the campaign, LF Kid Goku and Sparking Jackie Chu, it still wasn't enough. Daima remained the top dog, and Dragon Ball Saga would end up getting power creep once the 7th anniversary.
It's really a shame, man, because, you know, I think Kid Goku definitely deserved an LF, and Jackie Chun generally was pretty cool having that green card counter stuff, but like he said, it just, it wasn't enough. So, isn't that crazy to think about? That, you know, people are like, yo, the meta sucks, the meta sucks, the meta sucks, the meta sucks, and they're like, okay, let's make things better. And they decide to, like, try that out first with the fucking Dragon Ball Saga? Like most people, the rah-rah, like, ooga boonga brain people, they don't give a fuck about Dragon Ball. Hell, most people don't even think I fucking watched it. Like, most people haven't even watched it. That's besides the point.
It came around, basically giving them no moment of relevancy, except for LF Kid Goku. He was the only character to survive during Part 1, but completely got pushed out when Part 2 rolled around. So overall, the Dragon Ball campaign was a complete failure, which also made the first batch of characters under the new design philosophy a complete failure as well. And moving into the Part 1 of the 7th anniversary, it wouldn't get much better. So the 7th anniversary finally begins, and just like that, we're already seeing once again the incompetence of the dev team. Transforming MUI Goku and Evo Vegeta completely go against everything the new design philosophy stands for. Starting off with MUI, this motherfucker literally does everything. Extremely high damage potential, paired up with all his unnecessary defensive abilities. He has his gauge that constantly refills every time your opponent switches. He's got his counter green. He has the increased arts cost and reduced key effects every time you touch him. He can go type neutral. He can restore his vanish on main. There is no specific role that this guy is playing, because he literally does everything you need a character to do.
The only thing I will say about Goku, which I think, I mean, maybe it's just how it always should have been. Maybe I'm just so lost in the sauce, but at the very least, he can't, like, stop you from penetrating his endurance. Like, I feel like in the past, most people would, like, have some nullification for that. This guy didn't, and his defenses weren't insane. So you could take him down, but like you mentioned, the card call shit could get in the way of that. So at least he didn't feel like an impenetrable wall that, like, Majin, Vegeta, and, like, the most recent Ultras, you know, kind of feel like. But, you know, he was still very strong and kind of felt like, yeah, they didn't really listen to their own, like, philosophy at all here. So I do get the sentiment. I do get it.
And then we move on to Evo, who was just flawed from the very beginning.
Vegeta's biggest feature is that before and after transforming, you can keep on attacking to power up.
They made Evo a long combo character. Huh. That's funny, because didn't the devs literally just say a month ago that they were not only going to stop creating characters like this, but also put a penalty on long combos so they can't be performed anymore?
You know what's crazy, and I don't know if he's going to get into it, and I apologize for pausing, but what's so funny about this character, and the reason why I argue that he can be good, is that in Proud, you know, there's less timer counts. So what people will do with this character and UI is that they'll just stall out the match. As long as they're getting more priorities than you, or even they just have one more priority than you, they can just stall with UI and, like, revival UI, and with this Vegeta just comboing forever, you'll lose by damage, and it feels fucking bad, and it feels very bitch bait from the opponent as well. But people do that, man. People do that because they can.
Or do they just straight up lie to the player base, and our complaints and criticisms just don't matter? Oh, okay, yeah, you lied to your player base, and then a whole section of the newsletter pretty much means nothing. Thanks, Legends. This is exactly what the incompetence of the dev team looks like on full display. Not only did the devs basically lie to our faces by making Evo a combo character, but they directly shoot him in the foot, because that playstyle of characters is obsolete. You can't dish out these infinitely long combos anymore without receiving a penalty for it. If you try to attempt it, then you'll lose all your card draw speed and stop the sub count of your characters from moving, making it impossible to switch out to continue the combo. So essentially, this kills off any form of longevity Evo will have. And it shows, because he is completely unrunnable in the present day. Hell, every Part 1 character is unrunnable, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
I will say I disagree with that. Again, I play Proud, and, you know, ZBG's like, oh, Proud is for pussies, whatever, right? I play Proud because it's fucking faster. You can at least run these three guys in Proud. I think you'll be fine. Combo you could get away with, but I think these guys are a little bit more meta, but it is definitely based on the stalling factor, right? But yeah, I think in Standard, you're kind of, you know, gonna run for your money a little bit. I don't think they're gonna really be able to keep up as much.
Moving on to the Part 2 units. Kaioken Goku and Vegeta are very good characters, but again, they share the same issue with MUI, They literally do everything.
Yeah.
There isn't one thing these characters are lacking, nor are they playing a specific role on the team. Goku is both strong offensively and defensively, and then Vegeta is again, just like Evo, another long combo character. Not even a month later and the devs already lied again. Then there's Nappa and Tag Tien and Chaozu. And unlike the characters we just talked about previously, these guys actually bring something new and exciting to the table. Nappa has his brand new clone ability, and Chaozu has that little exploding thing when you kill him. I don't know what it's called, but...
Oh my god, bro. We really thought that, like, Nappa, they're like, oh, dude, think of all the things that they could do. And then we got fucking Cooler later, bro. Oh my god. How fucking oblivious we were.
It's cool. But guess what? It doesn't even matter, because Nappa ended up being completely dog shit, while Tien and Chaozu got completely power crept by the time the Part 3 Ultras came out. In fact, the only characters that survived the wrath of the Part 3 Ultras was Kaioken and Ape Vegeta. All of these other characters got power crept into oblivion.
I think that's fair. Again, it's the proud argument. I'm not going to keep being like a weasel and keep bringing up proud. But yeah, obviously these two were the most dominant out of the whole anniversary for sure. So I'm not going to argue too much there.
Yes, we are living in a timeline where power creep has gotten so bad to the point where headlining anniversary units can't even make it past their own celebration.
That is crazy.
Moving on to the Part 3 Ultras. What do I even need to say about these guys? Ultra Goku and Frieza, and you know what? And Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. I might as well just talk about all of them in the same segment. I think it's pretty fitting. All three of these guys are not only insanely toxic, but they completely ignore the new design philosophy. And do you want to know why?
Money!
Come on, guys, let's be serious here. You really thought for a second the devs would balance the main thing that makes them that sweet cheddar?
Kinda.
Get real. Briefly talking about the three Ultras, Vegeta and Frieza can just infinitely long combo you forever, while Goku has an AoE green and his lock engage, and cover rescue / comeback mechanic. These two were already bad enough, and then UV4 came in and just made everything even worse. The fact that three Ultras are running the game right now should tell you everything wrong with the new design philosophy and the horrible state this game is in. The only positive thing I can say about these guys is the fact that they at least bring something unique to the game. Even though it ended up being for the worse, I still appreciate Goku for having his mechanics, Frieza for having his little death beam thing, and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta for having his switch attack animation. It's cool, it's new, it helps these characters stand out from the rest. But other than that, this is just a big fuck you to the new design philosophy and all the players who expected change. In fact, besides all the plat equipment characters, which man, all the plat equips have been on a generational run this year, unlike these shitty ass Zenkais. But besides from them, the only, and I mean only character that I wholeheartedly believe that was able to successfully display the new design philosophy correctly was LF Kefla. And LF Android 13, but he didn't even get announced until a few days later after I recorded this segment of the video, so my fault.
Yeah, I agree with him.
Kefla's entire purpose is to be an offensive powerhouse on the team, and she does her role perfectly. Of course, she can't tank for shit, but that's not the job of the character. She's the damage dealer, while another character on the team, let's say Ultra Super Vegeta for example, would be the defensive sponge that soaks up all the damage. This right here is what the new design philosophy should have looked like for every other character, but yeah, that did not end up happening. So if you haven't noticed throughout my whole time yapping about the new design philosophy, there seems to be a specific pattern with it. It's either A, the broken characters end up doing everything and end up not fulfilling a specific role like Legends said they would do, or B, characters that do try to fill a specific role and bring something new and exciting to the table end up being straight up garbage or get power crept before they even get a chance to shine in the spotlight. The biggest example of this is LF Cooler. It is very clear that
Here we
LF
go.
Cooler was meant to be a defensive punching bag for the team. But since his design was so poorly executed, all he does is take infinite damage and actively sabotages any chance you have at winning. And because Cooler is so bad, he is now in discussion for being one of, if not the worst design unit in Dragon Ball Legends history.
Yeah.
That
No
alone
kidding.
should tell you everything that is wrong with this new design philosophy.
I just saw that green card and it just pissed me off. What is the green? What is the purpose of the green card? Like, you don't even fucking get anything from it, dude. There's no point.
Yeah, we're dead. Can't even swap in the cooler, bro. Yeah, what the fuck that was. It wasn't even close.
Legends created a unit that helps you lose in a match. I can't make this up, bro. I know there's other characters I didn't really touch up on, but I'm sure you get the point. Not only has Legends basically fumbled most of the units to come out, But they also lied to us multiple times by having characters like the 3 Ultras, LF Goku, Kaioken Goku, and Vegeta that do literally everything and not fulfill a specific role as promised to us. What a complete joke this quote-unquote new design philosophy truly is. Let me ask you this question again. Are you guys having fun getting matched up against these toxic Ultras 95% of your matches and not being able to use the majority of the roster this year because they either flat out sucked or got power crept?
No. 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 Hell no.
Yeah, just what I thought.
Oh damn it! He's still going. Oh shit! I thought that was it. Oh fuck, bro. Homie's going in.
So around a week or two ago, I made this community post expressing my feelings towards the state of the game and also asking you guys what specific issues did you want me to cover when making this video. And out of all the problems currently going on in the game, the topic of PvE content and CC reduction was by far the one that was getting the most complaints.
It is crazy.
I mean, I can't really say I'm surprised. Just look at the state the event tab is in right now. It is a complete wasteland. Kakarot, let's fight somewhere empty. Sure thing, Vegeta. So after looking through some of your comments, I was able to boil down everyone's issues into 2 main points. Number 1, lack of innovating events over the years. And number 2, excessive amounts of CC being taken away from events and from the game in general. The lack of new and exciting events has actually been an ongoing issue for a good while now, and I'm so happy more people are finally starting to realize it. The most recent time I can recall when we actually got something new that wasn't just a lazy, boring, slop grind event that's been done to death 67 trillion times was God Challenge, which came out after the 6th anniversary just ended. Even though this event has its own set of problems, it's unique, and I see the potential in it. Then before God Challenge, it was Full Power Battle, which came out in the beginning of the 4th anniversary. This event is basically co-op, but you have 3 buddies instead of 1.
It was aight.
And there's also new unique mechanics, like the all-out rushes, and the special Rising Rush Z thing. Then before Full Power Battle, it was just standard co-op. There's also Raid, which I wasn't gonna include since it's literally co-op 2.0, but it does have its own perks, so I guess I will. But as far as brand new major events go, these are really the only ones. Oh yeah, as I'm recording this, I forgot to mention Tournament of Power exists, but that is so forgettable and so boring.
Bro, I actually forgot about it.
Included. Fuck Tournament of Power, it's so ass. And the sad thing is, nobody really cares about these events anymore anyways, because Legends has done nothing new with them. They are literally in the exact same spot when they were when they first came out. I mean, co-op did get a little bit of an upgrade where the Rising Rush thing got changed out for that little button shit. I don't know what it's called, but it got changed out for that. So if you want to count that as something brand new, then sure, why not?
Yeah, it's easier to get the rush off now.
But besides that, that's all the upgrade it got, and that was 2 years ago at this point. Co-op, once something so fun and innovating, has now been reduced to only being known as a tedious, boring grind event that's used for getting new equipments. Raid is now only thought of as an extra way to get CC, and Full Power Battle and God Challenge are just completely dead in the water. I'm sure 90% of the player base doesn't even bother doing them anymore. And it's
so to be completely transparent with y'all, I do not play PvE. Just straight up. I get my God ranks and I fuck off. I don't do LBR. I don't do God Challenge. Maybe I'm selling by this. I think they have like a supporter like event that you could do to get like supporter points. I don't do that either. I do like the Zenkais, and then I don't do the free-to-play units. I just don't really see the point. Now, sometimes the guys get mad at me in the quads for not having these characters. So I'm like, why the fuck am I gonna get these characters? I'm never gonna use them. You know what I mean? It's just like, it seems pointless to me, and I'm not gonna make a video on it either. So it's just like, you know what I mean? So like that really speaks to me, because you know, I used to, like, you guys know Prof, sorry not to yap too much, but like 4 years ago, Prof was like, oh, all I do is PvP. I'm like, you just do PvP? No raid, no, you know, no co-op, no nothing? And I was just like, eventually I was just like, yeah, I kind of get it. All this shit sucks and it's monotonous. So like, why wouldn't you just do PvP? It's the, you know, most fun you have with this game, when there's fun to be had anyway.
So frustrating because these events have so much potential and utility to work with, but it's just all going to waste. It feels like every event nowadays is just a former shell of what it once was. Back during the early years of the game, we used to get so many fun events like Rising Battles and Legends Road.
These were
which
great.
rewarded you with free characters that weren't just a reused model with the same animations. No, they were actually brand new characters with new models, new animations.
So for context really quick, and I'm sorry for pausing, disrupting the flow, but Gotenks, usable character. This Trunks, a usable character. The Goku, so-so. this fucking Kid Goku, I think he was genuinely #1 in the game. Dead ass. This Vegeta was a great defensive character. The Ginyu, I think, was fine, and Broly was very solid. So it is crazy that this shit is just all done, by the way. Legends Road is done. They just gave up on it. And this was like the free-to-play team that they made, and they would Zenkai them and stuff, and they just stopped. They just fucking stopped. It's very, very crazy. Very odd.
And actual decent kits. Nowadays, you just do 4 stages, and there you go. Here's your brand new free character with the same animations and model that is going to be absolutely horrible in PvP. We also had actually challenging events like the stage battles, where you have to try your absolute hardest to defeat them. I remember those type of events used to get so many views back in the day, simply because they were just so entertaining to watch. Seeing your favorite YouTuber absolutely lose their mind was not only hilarious, but it was also relatable. Anyone remember how difficult that full power Frieza event was? Oh my god. Even with the brand new character.
Bro, back in the day, these PvE events were actually like so you could like close the app and it would allow you to like kind of like redo a little bit to like get good RNG. That's what you had to do for some of these fucking events, man. It was crazy. Remember, it was like this one and a Broly one. They were absolutely fucking insane. But yeah, they don't make a challenging PvE events. And then there was a time where you could just like charge step and the bots would just fucking like let you have your way with them, and they got rid of that, and now the bots, you know, it's just not really fun to play against them. I don't know, they kind of like they tried to fix it and they made it worse, and now it's even worse than it was somehow.
If you weren't playing like a god and made one mistake, Frieza would shred you into oblivion. But nowadays, if you have the brand new shiny character, you'll be able to solo any event with your eyes closed. Hell, events are so easy nowadays, you don't even need to pay attention to beat them. Extreme Battle is a prime example. You can literally just boot up a YouTube video and play this event at the same time, without losing one character. It is truly depressing how dead the PvE scene of the game has become. Now, it's not to say Dragon Ball Legends has completely given up with PvE content. It's rare, but every once in a blue moon, they will try to do something innovative. For example, every April Fool's event has been an absolute banger, and most of the time we're given a brand new character that isn't just a reused model with the same animations. The events also have unique dialogue and cutscenes.
After all, the gravity on my homeworld, planet Zune, is 10 times stronger than Earth's, yeah? Impossible. 10 times? This is amazing!
These events are all just good fun, but it's really unfortunate that these only happen once a year, and for the remainder of the time, the game is just back to its dry state. Another example is the most recent LOE campaign. Despite the actual characters themselves being a failure, the PvE aspect had a cool concept, but could have definitely been so much better.
Was cool.
There were missions called Invade Planets, where you had to do them in order to unlock a key.
I did like that.
And once you gathered all 3 of the keys, then you were rewarded with 300 CC. Really fun concept, but the problem just comes from the missions themselves being so mind-numbingly easy and boring that there isn't any real excitement to be had doing them. That's the thing with PvE content. There's infinite amounts of possibilities you can do, but there just seems to be no drive for the dev team to do that, which is why PvE is and will probably always remain in the state it's in forever. Moving on to point number 2, CC reduction. For starters, Legends has just straight up been taking CC out of events that used to give it. A big example of this is Ultra Space-Time Rush. Correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong, but I believe we used to either get 500 or 1000 CC for completing.
I think it was
but ever since they updated it, there hasn't been a single Chrono Crystal in sight. Another big example of this is Rush Battle. Instead of it being 30 stages, back then it used to be 100. While it was more tedious to do, it still gave players more CC, versus the amount we're given now after the stages have been reduced. This change still doesn't make any sense to me. Why even reduce the stages if you're just gonna cut the amount of CC people get in half? Wouldn't it have been nice if Legends reduced the stages, but also kept the amount of CC we got?
Wouldn't it be nice, but also take some shit away?
Like this, where they could have taken the time to appeal to their player base. But no, never with this game. Another more recent example is Raid. Instead of getting the standard 700 CC, now we only get 500.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Can anyone please tell me what is the point of doing this? Nobody even cares about Raid as an event anymore.
I guess the argument is that raids are more frequent
now. You're slowly taking away the one thing people care about. And of course, we can't forget about soul boosting. This was one of the biggest methods to get hundreds, even thousands of CC instantly. And I am truly convinced to this day, this was the only reason why it was removed. You may call it a stretch, but if the devs are bold enough to remove CC from the game right in front of our faces, then I doubt something like this is beneath them. There are tons of other examples as well. Just look at most of the events that come out nowadays. Almost none of them give you any CC. So not only are modern events lacking any form of innovation, but they don't even have the courtesy to give us the one thing people care about the most. It is always a lose-lose situation for the players. Okay, to give Legends some leeway, I understand that the main attraction of this game is PvP, which means the devs are most likely going to dedicate their time and resources into making sure every aspect of PvP is good. Which sure, that's fine. But to use that as an excuse to completely neglect the whole other half of your game to the point where it takes years to get new content just is not a good enough reason. There honestly should be zero reason why we should be going more than 2 years and 9 out of the 10 events in the tab stay looking like this. And again, it's so unfortunate because we've seen what Legends can do when they spend their time making a good event. And I'm sure if they just put more time and effort into it, then we could have more events like the April Fool's ones every few months or so. But they just refuse to. And to be honest with you, I don't think they ever will.
Ooh, this is gonna be a good one, bro. Holy shit, supporters? Y'all know how I feel about supporters, man. Fuck supporters, bro.
Alright, before we get into the nit and gritty of supporters, I do want to apologize in advance if this particular segment of the video comes across as me ranting / me complaining.
Nah, bro, go off,
I
King.
need to get this shit off my chest because there's a lot I need to say about this horrible, scummy, corporate greed slop of a system. So the first ever batch of supporters, being Dende and Yajirobe, were announced on September 10th alongside with LF Super Saiyan 3 GT Kid Goku. And I kid you not, the day that they came out, there was already issues. So each supporter starts off at level 1, and the max level it can reach is level 99. And the total amount of copies needed in order to max out a single supporter is 111. Yeah, we're already starting off bad. So with that in mind, how are players supposed to get that many copies of supporters? Well, there's only 2 ways to do it. The first way is to just summon from them naturally on the specific banner they're on. But God knows how long that will take and how much CC you'll need in order to do it. But yeah, that's option number 1. Or there's option number 2, which is the one Dragon Ball Legends is intending most players to use. And that's where you go to buy tickets for supporters in the shop. And what currency do you need to use in order to get these tickets? Yeah, Chrono Crystals. Oh, but it gets even worse. Get ready to brace for impact for this one. In order to max out one supporter by buying the tickets, the amount of CC you need to spend is 11,000 for one supporter.
You can't keep getting away with it!
I have gotten multiple copies of Ultra characters.
So for context, you know, it's 11,000 for one supporter. If you wanted a full 6 stack, that's 66,000 CC, bro. That's fucking absurd, man. A free-to-play player would never, ever fucking spend that much on supporters, dude. Like, that's insane. That's an insane ask. That's an insane ask.
With a fraction of amount of that CC. Oh, and it's not like you can get away with using a level 1 supporter. They are beyond awful at that stage. For example, take a look at the difference between Dende at level 1 and Dende at level 99.
There's Dende.
Damn!
That is a big heal. That is a big time heal.
And as for the other supporters, they are so heavily restricted and their active conditions are so abysmal to the point where you won't even be able to use them. Take a look at Yajirobe, for example. It takes 100 counts for you to be able to activate him. Versus when you get him to max level, now you can use him at 50 counts. Literally half of the amount of time needed. And then there's Oob, who by far got the worst of it. Oh my dear sweet Go, look how they massacred you. I want to remind you guys, the entire premise of this supporter system even being added into this game is to give representation to characters that will be difficult to implement. For example, whether that be a giant character like Cell Max, or a character that doesn't normally fight in the show at all. But I feel like the whole purpose of this system gets negated when a character like Oob is a supporter, who is very clearly someone that has qualifications to be a character in the game. In fact, he's already a character in the game. Why would they do this to him? It has been 4 years since our last Oob. He is long overdue for some representation. Honestly, he should have just been the LF instead of Goku. And then they could have saved Super Saiyan 3 Goku and made him into a transforming Super Saiyan 4 unit for Legends Festival or something. But nope, poor Oob has to suffer the humiliation of being a supporter. If you couldn't tell, it's pretty clear why Legends did this to him. And the reasoning for this is because, if you think about it, there is only so many non-fighter characters this game can add before they eventually run out. So by making my GOAT a supporter, someone who is very clearly a fighter, it gives the devs leeway into making any type of character a supporter. And the more supporters they can add, of course, you already know what's coming, more money in their pockets.
I can't take this shit no more, man.
Quickly going over Oob's restrictions, I was honestly at a loss for words when I first saw this. In order for Oob to be usable, your opponent has to be using 2 GT characters. And I even did a little experiment just to see how many people I could run into using them. And out of 20 of the 30 matches that I did, I only fought 2 people who were using more than 1 GT character. Meaning 90% of the time, the supporter you spend all that CC and all that money on to max out isn't
but
even
the stats,
usable.
bro.
And
think
it
about the
gets even worse
stats.
when you realize all the current GT characters in the game right now will eventually age out. And there's going to come a time where nobody's using any GT characters at all, which will make Oob utterly worthless until more than 2 usable GT characters come out again. And unfortunately, this seems like the path that they're going to be taking with supporters for the future. They're only going to be relevant based on who's running the meta, and once that meta dominant character gets kicked aside, so will the supporter. And this will just cascade into the endless cycle of players having to keep spending more money and more CC to get the new characters and max out the new supporter.
Yeah, it's not good, dude.
It is truly depressing
It's not good.
how low this game is willing to go just for an extra buck. What seemed like a cool concept a few months ago is already ruined. And it hasn't even been a month yet! Let me ask you this question one final time. Does all of this, all of the lying from the devs, the failure of the new design philosophy, no unique events, CC reduction, and to top it all off, this scummy ass corporate greed system they call supporters, does anything I just mentioned seem fun? No! Again, just what I thought.
What's crazy is, guys, this was the 7th year of Legends. This was supposed to be the year, like the year they went crazy. They literally sent a newsletter out saying that. And to think that this is arguably one of the worst years in the game's fucking history? Yeah, that's why I made the video I made like recently. If this comes out before or after this video, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like, it's fucking scary, man. It is, it's fucking scary.
So if you haven't caught on by now, there's a specific question I've been asking throughout this entire video, and there's a good reason for it. The entire purpose of myself and any other person that plays this game in the first place is to have fun using our favorite characters from our favorite show to fight different people from around the world. But what Dragon Ball Legends has been doing recently and treating its players over the years, nothing about that is fun. And that right there is the main problem. If a video game is collectively causing most of the player base to not have fun, then it has lost its entire purpose. Dragon Ball Legends has lost its entire purpose and has now become a former broken shell of what it once was. It truly is tragic to see. I've been playing this game since I was 13 years old. It has brought me so much happiness over the years. And trust me,
Damn. Am I Unk? I played this when I was a senior in high school. Fuck. Fuck. I wish you didn't say that. Fuck.
There are plenty of good things that this game has done during that time. But unfortunately, it always gets overshadowed by the bad, because it ends up always being a big deal. I don't want anything bad to happen to this game, like end of service. This game has given me everything. And as corny as this may sound, I owe my life to it. Because of this game, I now have an amazing community that loves my videos. A good amount of income that comes in every month that I'm able to support my family with. And most importantly, I have purpose. Making YouTube videos is one of the very few things that brings me true happiness in this cruel, evil world. And the fact that my videos are able to make someone out there feel joy.
Guys, man, make fucking sure you guys watch this video, bro, and leave a like and comment, dude. You guys get me emotional, bro. That's really fucking sweet, man. That's actually really fucking sweet. Good for you, bro.
Or cheer them up after having a shitty day. That right there means everything to me. Sorry, I didn't mean to go super deep, but I'm just trying to show you how much I really do care about this game. I just want the best for it. especially since we've already seen what happens when this game gets it right. Take a look at all of 2023 and the 6th anniversary, for example. By far mine and many others' favorite time to play this game ever. Of course, I understand Dragon Ball Legends isn't perfect. Nothing on this planet is. There is always going to be mistakes here and there, because the people who operate this game are human at the end of the day, just like you and me. But what the devs have been doing recently isn't a mistake. They have been purposely killing this game and going against their players, and I will never understand why. And unfortunately, the only thing we can really do now is hope for the devs to listen to our criticism and lock the fuck in. Otherwise, it's just all downhill from here, like it always seems to be nowadays.
Damn. Dude, that was a fucking fantastic video. Again, guys, please check out this video. Check out this man's channel as well. I'm gonna go ahead and leave a comment, bro. Fire video. That was a really, genuinely, might have been, like, as far as I've seen, one of the best Dragon Ball Legends related videos I've ever fucking seen. The fact that we have this talent in this community is fucking beautiful, dude. That is, again, huge props to Slaybix here. Huge props to him. Again, if you guys want to check out the video and Mr. Slaybix's channel, it's going to be in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. And yeah, take care, safe, have fun. Peace out, dude. Peace out.